a massive celebration. For a 10-year-old, the sunlight hits different. When you're a genius, the staff is buzzing, everyone is shouting their congratulations to Isaac, the table is overflowing. Getting into the Royal Academy, at only 10 years old? That's unheard of. It's undeniable proof. Isaac is a prodigy. The nanny brought out every single favorite dish. It's a joyous day. Isaac finally speaks up. He thanks his nanny, with a quiet smile. The future looks bright, but the Royal Academy is a whole different world. Is he actually ready? Isaac isn't just smart, he's already winning hearts. A servant named Hans approaches with a massive gift. Hans insists he take it. It's a personal thank you. Apparently, Isaac provided medicine that saved the man's son. Isaac tries to decline. He doesn't want anything in return for helping, but Hans won't budge. A life is worth more than any box. Isaac accepts it gracefully. He really is a leader. Suddenly, the doors burst open. A younger voice rings out. It's his brother, Jonas. He's carrying a lute. Jonas wants to play some celebratory music. The whole room is alive. Everything seems perfect. But in a house this big, is everyone truly happy about Isaac's sudden success? The room is full of light. Hans can't stop talking about how talented Jonas is. Even the court musicians called the boy a prodigy. Isaac looks at his brother. He wants to hear it. He wants to see this talent for himself. Jonas is more than happy to show off for him. He starts to play. The music is beautiful. It's a perfect moment. But then the dream breaks. The strings turn to blood. The warmth vanishes instantly. Someone is screaming. Isaac bolts upright. The feast is gone. The music is dead. He's alone in the dark. It was just a dream, but the way he's shaking says it was much more. What happened to that boy playing the lute? Isaac stares into the dark. How foolish of him to dream of those days. That warmth is long gone. He knows the truth now. He can never go back to being that golden child. The past is a locked door. The castle is cold. The silence is broken by heavy footsteps outside. Someone is approaching. The door creaks open. A lantern cuts the gloom. It's Hans, coming in to start the day. He announces it's morning. He's brought a tray and a bit of light. Just a normal routine, but Isaac is still stuck in that nightmare. He can only manage a confused response. The dream felt like years, but for the rest of the world, it's just another Tuesday. How does he move on? Hans takes one look at Lucas and knows. He asks if it was another nightmare. Lucas doesn't deny it. He was back there again, back in a dream, about the old days. Hans wonders how far back. 20 years ago. That's a lifetime. It's far too long to keep looking back. Hans sets down a tray. He tells Lucas to stop dwelling on stale memories. Fresh cheese is better than a dead past. There's no time to waste. Once the meal is done, they have training to finish. The world keeps moving, even if Lucas can't. But as Hans leaves, Lucas is already gone. His mind is drifting back to a specific moment. He was 10 years old, just a month away from the Royal Academy. Everything was set. Then he caught a flu, a simple, sudden sickness. But 20 years later, he still hasn't recovered from what happened next. That simple flu lasted for 3 months. When it didn't go away, Goethe started to panic. He was a count with endless resources. He even brought in a scholar from the tower. He needed a real answer. The scholar looks at him. He calls it a unique and dangerous constitution. It's not a normal sickness. Everyone is born with a mana vessel. Usually, the energy flows at a steady, safe pace. It's supposed to be calm. But for Lucas, the flow is abnormal. It's moving too fast. It's fierce and violent. The scholar is blunt. At this rate, it won't be long. The pressure is too much. His vessel is going to completely shatter. It's a death sentence, wrapped in a diagnosis. They tried to ignore it. They tried to hope. But the truth eventually became a brutal reality. Lucas's life was over before it even began. How do you survive when your own power is trying to kill you? The mana inside Lucas finally hit the limit. It erupted like a dam, bursting under pressure. When that internal force hit the world outside, it triggered an explosion. A wave of pure destruction tore through the room. The mansion became a scene of horror. People were caught in the crossfire. Blood stained the floors. The cycle wouldn't stop. It would calm down, only to erupt again. Everyone lived in terror of the next blast. Then came the moment that changed everything. The energy was so violent, it tore off the right hand of his younger brother, Jonas. Lucas couldn't take it. He wasn't a child anymore. He was a living weapon, destroying his own family. He looks at his father with a desperate plea. He begs Goethe to lock him away. He wants a cage. He wants a prison. Anything to stop the monster living inside his chest. Goethe can only watch as his son chooses to disappear forever. But is a cage enough to hold back that power? Lucas got his wish. He was sent away to a place where no one could reach him. A dark, lonely room became his entire world. He thought he was finally keeping people safe. He remembers being 15, even in that cage. He wasn't completely alone. Isaac was still there, serving him every day. They were just eating, a quiet, normal moment, in a very abnormal life. Then the silence broke. A violent cough echoed through the room. Isaac stumbles back, reaching for the wall. Lucas calls out to him, but when Isaac pulls his hand away, it's covered in red. He's coughing up blood. The truth hits Lucas, like a physical blow. This is mana poisoning. Isaac stayed too close, for far too long. The energy leaking from Lucas's body is literally rotting, his only friend from the inside. Lucas wanted to protect them, but his cage didn't stop the poison. It just trapped his victim inside with him. Lucas isn't taking no for an answer. He tells Isaac this is what happens when you stay too long. He orders his servant to leave and rest for at least a month. It's a command, disguised as a worry. Isaac just laughs it off. He asks who else would even look after a master like him. He even jokes that Lucas has no friends. Lucas threatens to kick him out for the insult, but they both know the real reason. He has to go. Isaac doesn't seem scared of the danger. He's survived dozens of mana explosions without losing a hair. He thinks he's invincible, but Lucas knows better. One more incident could take everything. He can't have Isaac's blood on his hands. He tells him to get lost so he can meditate in total isolation. He needs the room empty. Isaac finally gives in. He's been by his side through the worst of it. As he walks away, he says it's been a true pleasure. The door clicks shut. Lucas is finally alone in his cage again, but the silence now feels heavier than the poison itself. The door finally opens. The isolation is over, but the world outside isn't what Lucas remembered. A voice echoes from somewhere far away. It offers congratulations to young Master Isaac. A celebration is happening, but not in this room. Lucas steps into the grand dining hall. The smell of iron hits him instantly. It's not a feast, it's a slaughterhouse. The scene is pure chaos. Servants are screaming. In the darkness, someone cries out about Hans's neck. Another wails for a missing limb. Blood is everywhere. It drips from the table and stains the fine carpet. The people who served him are broken on the floor. And there, at the head of the table, sits a familiar figure. Jonas looks up with cold, empty eyes. He's been waiting. He doesn't look horrified. He doesn't look hurt. He looks like he's exactly where he belongs. He welcomes Lucas back with a calm voice. The brother he tried so hard to protect is now the one holding the knife. Jonas sits there, covered in blood. He says it's been a long time. The nightmare is finally coming home. Then the world shatters. A sharp breath breaks the silence. It was just a dream, a memory of a horror that never actually happened. But the truth is much worse than any bad dream. Lucas is dead. The last time anyone saw him, he was coughing blood and walking away. He never came back. A whole year passed without a single visit. The only news came from the Count, a cold report of a life ending. There was another massive mana explosion. On that final day, the power inside Lucas finally tore him apart. He had locked his door to keep everyone safe. He died alone, behind a slab of stone. Now the only thing left in that cage is a piece of bread sitting on a tray. The master is gone. The cage is empty. I should have kept my distance. I should never have given them my affection. If I had only treated them coldly, maybe it wouldn't hurt this much. A memory flashes of a brighter time. Isaac was there. They were all smiling back then, but that warmth was a trap. Years bleed into more years. The bread piles up against the door, loaf after loaf, turning to stone. In the dark, everyone outside thinks it's over. They think the cage is a tomb, but the hand that reaches out is still moving. It's thin and covered in veins, but it's alive. I am still here. The poison didn't finish the job. There is no looking back now. The past is nothing but ashes. The young man who entered this room is long gone. In his place stands a man forged by isolation. Middle age has finally arrived, and with it, a new reason to keep breathing. 30 years have passed. In this stone box, the tally marks cover the walls. My hands are those of an old man. I didn't just rot in the dark. I buried myself in every book I could find. I had to fix this broken body. Eventually, the pages ran dry. There was nothing left to learn from the ink. The books became useless paper. All that remained was my own mind. I sat in silence for years on end, just me and the flow of mana. A voice echoes in the stillness. It speaks of the lonely path, standing alone before the infinite. The world outside is cold and vast. a desolate place, where only power truly matters. But the wait is finally over. The decades of solitude paid off. I found it, the one clue I'd been seeking for 30 years. The cage is about to break. The bread is hard as a rock. I suppose it's time to stop eating. The research materials keep coming in, but the news has completely stopped. Did something happen to the family? I look at the desk. The blue crystals and the magic circles are my only company. The work never ends. Am I 71 now? The marks on the wall don't lie. Each scratch is a day stolen by this room. I've spent a lifetime staring at these stones, waiting for a change that never comes. Then a sound echoes through the hall. Heavy footsteps stop right outside. A voice calls out from behind the wood. It's a word I haven't heard in 40 years. Brother? The silence of decades is finally broken. He's actually here. It really is him. Jonas is standing right outside the door. He asks if I'm already asleep. Jonas, how did he even get here? What could possibly bring him back after all this time? He asks if he can come in. He wants to see my face. But I can't let that happen. Stay right there. Speak from where you are standing. We sit down on opposite sides of the cold stone, one wall between us, a lifetime of silence between us. He asks how I've been doing. I don't even know where to start. It's a long story, 40 years long. Then he drops the real reason for this visit. Do you know what today is? It's the anniversary of our father's death. How did he die? How did our father actually pass away? Jonas sighs. It's a long story, one that stretches back over 30 years. He asks if I'm ready to hear the truth. I have nothing but time. He starts with the War of Succession, a brutal fight between the first and second prince, the kind of conflict that swallows families whole. I sit there in the dark, listening to his voice. The world outside this stone room starts to take shape. He talks for hours. The names and battles blur together into a single tragic tapestry. I have to admit, Jonas has a talent for telling stories. He paints a picture so vivid, I can almost see the light again. I completely lost track of time, but the ending is what matters most. Jonas laughs. It's a dry sound. He says if he knew things would end like this, he would have lived as a wandering poet. But then he stops. He admits writing poems would be hard anyway. He only has one hand left. The room goes quiet. Then Jonas says the words I never expected to hear. I am sorry. My hands clench against my knees. I don't say a word. I just listen. He tells me the truth. Our father, our mother, and Jonas himself, they all resented me. They hated that I was locked away while they suffered. The air in the room feels like lead, but he isn't finished. He says they also missed me terribly. Every single day. 40 years of hate and 40 years of love, all crashing down at the same time. We loved you, truly, very much. Jonas's voice is barely a whisper now. He says it's a shame. A sound of heavy coughing breaks through the door. He wanted to see my face one last time before the very end. The very end? What is he talking about? Jonas keeps speaking through the pain. He tells me that while the war raged, the gate finally opened. Monsters from another world, a radical new religion. The things they did were beyond words. The world outside is a graveyard. Jonas, are you all right? I shout at the door, but he doesn't stop. He says at least now I can spend the rest of my life in peace. He's giving me his final blessing. If only I. His voice trails off. The silence that follows is more terrifying than any monster. If only I had come a little sooner. Jonas's voice drifts away. A dark liquid seeps under the door. It's thick, it's heavy, and it's everywhere. I throw the door open. The hinges scream, but the sight on the other side stops my heart. Jonas is on the floor. A cold blade is driven straight through his chest. He's been sitting there this entire time, bleeding out in the dark. I can't believe it. How did he manage to stay upright for so long? He told me the whole story, decades of history, while a sword was buried in his ribs. He held on just to say goodbye to me. I reach out and pull him close. The long wait is finally over, but the price was everything. You can't just lie here forever. I won't let you. I pull Jonas up. His body is limp. I take a step, then another. We start to climb. The stairs feel endless, but as I hold him, something feels wrong. Why are you so light? It's like I'm carrying nothing at all. Just how much have you starved to become this way? Every step is heavy. My breath comes in ragged gasps. But I don't stop. The darkness of this basement is finally behind us. There is a light at the top. It's blinding. It's the world we haven't seen in 40 years. I reach the door. I step through, and for the first time, the air is cold. We're out, Jonas. We're finally out. The world outside is a skeleton. The grand halls are nothing but shattered stone. Jonas was right. The monsters came. One of them lies rotting in the courtyard. It is snowing, Jonas. I say it aloud, just to hear a human voice. I reach out. A cold flake melts in my palm. Winter has arrived. The ground is frozen solid. I can't dig a grave here. Not like this. We will wait until the spring. I'll hold you until the ice finally breaks. I will take you to the family cemetery. I'll lay you where you belong, and then I will rest too. The long story is finally over. The ice has melted. A single green leaf sprouts from the dead wood. Spring is finally here. A white butterfly dances in the wind. It settles on the hilt of the sword. The air is quiet. I've done it, Jonas. The ground is soft. The work is finished. 2 graves stand side by side, one for you and one for me. I hold the last piece of our story in my hand. The blue light is all that's left. It's time to let it all go. The magic, the memories, the weight of 40 years. My hand erupts in a golden flame. It's warm, it's peaceful. The long winter is over, and now I can finally sleep. Did you see it, Jonas? Finally, I have finally reached it. After a lifetime of research, I have overcome my own body. The magic is mine. I crushed the gem. The power is no longer a burden. But what does it matter now? Can I rest now too? Will I be forgiven, even just a little? I sink to the grass. The strength in my legs is gone. I lie beside you in the quiet. If only I had hurried. If I hadn't wasted so much time in despair, would something have changed? The ruins stand silent. The answer never comes. The ruins fade. The cold stone melts into light. Everything is becoming a blur. A voice calls out. It's gentle. It calls me, young master. It asks if I had a nightmare. This voice, I know it. Hans? But that's impossible. Hans passed away a long time ago. The curtains are pulled back. The morning sun floods the room. I open my eyes. The wrinkles are gone. The gray hair is silver again. I'm not in the ruins. I'm back at the very beginning. A sharp gasp breaks the silence. I'm awake. The air is warm. The bed is soft. Hans is standing right there. He says I look unwell. He asks if I had a bad night. His voice is real. The sunlight is real. But how? Is this a dream, or is my mind playing tricks? In my final moments, I can't just sit here. I have to know. I throw back the blankets. My feet hit the cold floor. I'm moving. My body is light. The heavy weight of age is gone. If this is life flashing before my eyes, I need to see him one more time. Hans calls out in surprise, but I'm not stopping. I rush to the window. My hands press against the glass. A voice screams from the garden. It's a maid. She's begging someone to come down. I said it is fine. That voice, it's high-pitched, full of life. I look down through the leaves of the old tree. Brother, there he is, Jonas. He's sitting on a branch, holding a toy soldier, grinning like he doesn't have a care in the world. Jonas, he's alive. He's right there. He's not a memory in a ruined garden. He sees me. He waves his arms and laughs. The maid is frantic below him, but I can't look away. The warmth is back. The world has color. I didn't just wake up. I've been given a second chance. This time, I won't let go. This is not a dream. The air is too sharp. The light is too bright. I have returned. I'm back in the past. A voice echoes from the void. It calls to me. The one beginning. A new journey. It says I am alone, standing before infinity, in a world where only I and Mana exist. The voice tells me to wake up, to let go of everything I knew, discard the life I already lived, break the leash of my old memories. The past is gone. The tragedy hasn't happened yet. Now, I must become who I was meant to be. The confusion is gone. The fog has cleared. I remember the end, the fire, the screams, the helplessness. But that Lucas is dead. I can feel it. The mana is moving. It's cold. It's sharp. It's exactly what I need. I'm not just a survivor anymore. I have the knowledge of a lifetime. And now, I have the power to back it up. The world thinks I'm just a boy. They have no idea who just walked back from the grave. This time, I'm the one holding the cards. The room is a total wreck. Broken glass everywhere. The maids are terrified. They say the young master is losing it again, that his condition is getting worse by the day. Hans can't stand the talk. He's ready to burst in and shut them up. But a hand stops him. Lucas doesn't want a scene. He knows the truth. The maids aren't lying. He really is falling apart. Lucas is done. He tells Hans to leave, to never come back. Look at him, bandages on his head, propped up on a crutch. Just being near Lucas is getting him killed. But Hans won't budge. He drops to one knee. He's not going anywhere. He looks Lucas in the eye. This is just a rough patch, a bad moment in time. It'll pass. He used to be so bright, always wearing a huge smile, always saying that this is just how life is. But that smile, it feels like a lifetime ago. The explosion changed everything. A massive blood stain on the cold floor. That's all that's left. Everyone who loved him, everyone who cared, they're all gone. It wasn't an accident. Lucas knows the truth. He's the one who killed them. He remembers Jonas, climbing trees, begging to play, just a happy kid, with his whole life ahead. But if this is reality, if he's really back, he can't let history repeat itself. He has to act now. Hans, the loyal servant, is right there, ready for orders. The real game starts today. Lucas isn't asking, he's demanding. Get lost, get out of his sight, right now. He's pushing Hans away, with everything he's got. Hans doesn't argue, he just accepts it. Understood. Lucas watches him go. His hand grips the frame, until his knuckles turn white. This is the right move. It has to be. Staying close to him is a death sentence. He's protecting them, the only way he knows how. But Hans stops at the door. Don't do this. Don't try to shoulder everything by yourself. Lucas is left in the dark, alone with his secrets, and the danger that's still coming. Hans leaves him, with one last thought. It's okay to rely on us sometimes, but Lucas is frozen. Hans never said that, not in the life he remembers. Did he imagine it? Did he want to hear it so badly that his mind is playing tricks? There's only one way to find out. He swings his hand. A sharp crack echoes through the room. It stings. It actually hurts. This isn't a dream. This is real. He's standing here. He's breathing. But if this is reality, if he's truly alive, then what was that day? In the woods? What was the moment his heart stopped? If he's here now, then what was his death? Dream or reality? It doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that counts is what happens next. He can't let it happen. Not again. Another mana explosion would end everything. But there's a way out. A long time ago, someone else lived with this same curse. Sieg von Goethe, a name from the legends, a mage who reached the 10th circle, a level no other human has ever touched, and he's family, Lucas's own great-great-grandfather. Back when he was trapped underground, Lucas memorized every single record his father gave him. He studied those books for years, searching for a spark, searching for a way to survive. The answers are there. He just has to find them in time. The solution is here, a way to fix this broken body. It's all in this one stone, a single crest, the result of years of research, carved into magic, to create a runestone. In his past life, his hands would have been shaking. Old age was a heavy burden. But now, it's easy. It really is good to be young again. He has to stop the mana explosion. His body is a vessel, a container for limitless power. To survive, the vessel must be strong enough to hold the storm. But his mana doesn't just sit there. It spins, faster and faster, violent, unstoppable. If he can't control the spin, the vessel is going to shatter. His body is failing. The vessel can't hold the pressure. Normally, shattering like this would mean death. But Lucas is different. His body heals, as if nothing happened. It sounds like a gift, but it's a curse. He could explode 10 or 20 times, an endless cycle of total disaster. He needs a way out, and it starts with this runestone. The plan is simple. He has to break his own mana circuit by damaging the path and forcing the mana into a new channel. He can bleed off the violent energy. He's carving a drain for the storm. It's the only way to stop the shock. But there's a catch. The theory is solid. The math is perfect. But the success rate? It's almost zero. In his last life, he barely made it. Just a tiny spark, right before the end. That one little flame was his only proof, the only sign that he had succeeded. But what about now? Can he do it again? He reaches out, waiting for that familiar flicker. But this isn't a small spark. It's a roar, a blinding explosion of pure heat. The power is on a different level. It's not just success, it's a total mana overload. This isn't right. The firepower, it's way too much. He expected a spark. He got an inferno. Then, a sharp crack. Something inside him is starting to give. The vessel is hitting the limit. In the darkness, a single ring of light. The circuit is open. Suddenly, it's everywhere. Blue energy surging through every vein. It's not just flowing through him, it's taking over. His heart is pounding like a drum. He's still standing, but the storm is just getting started. He's holding the stone. The heat is rising, but this time, it's under control. He did it. The mana isn't just flowing, it's splitting. One channel became three different paths, three different powers. In his last life, this was impossible. Now, he can cast 3 spells at once. It's a massive leap in power. He can't believe it actually worked, but he can't get distracted. He clenches his fist. The fire dies down. This power, it's just a tool. The real mission hasn't changed. He didn't do this to become a god. He did this to stop the end. 3 channels, it's a start, but it's not enough. Not if he wants to stop the explosion. To survive this, he has to push harder, use magic every day, force the channels to grow and expand. He has to lighten the load on his body before it shatters. But there's a catch. This power is unstable. It's a walking disaster. So, until he's ready, he has to be alone. No friends, no allies. He can't let anyone get close to him, not a single soul. The sun goes down, the castle falls quiet. Then, a voice breaks the silence. Isaac is at the door. He's calling out. That dinner is ready. He's standing there, with a huge smile. He has no idea that his young master is a ticking time bomb. Hans doesn't care about the cold shoulder. He brings in the bread, the favorite wheat bread. Lucas wants him gone. He told him to get out, but Hans isn't moving. He's pushing the fork, begging for just one bite. He says Lucas hasn't been eating at all. He's not listening. He's just standing there, with that warm smile, watching like a hawk. Lucas sighs. He asks a simple question. How old am I again? 12. Hans says he's 12. The age of a child. The age where he should be spoiled, not carrying the world. He takes a bite, and then, he stops. This taste, it's familiar. Did his nanny make this? It's been a lifetime since he tasted home. For a split second, the ticking bomb inside him goes quiet. Lucas is eating, but something is missing. He hasn't seen his nanny all day. Isaac has the answer. Her son is sick. Pneumonia. Lucas stops. He puts the spoon down. So, she just left? She went home? In any other noble house, this would be a scandal. A servant leaving their post for family? Unthinkable. He looks at the fire. What a wonderfully run household this is. No discipline, no order, just this. He stares at his hand. The warmth of the food is already fading. In this house, nothing is ever what it seems. Lucas asks the question, is it just the boy? Is Hinder the only one suffering from this? Isaac's face says it all. It's not just one child. The whole village, everyone has caught it. Lucas goes silent. He stares at the table, but his mind is racing. The moon is high, and then, it hits him. He remembers now. This isn't just a cold. This is a disaster. The Black Goose Village mass pneumonia incident. He's seen this before. In his past life, this was the end. His nanny lost her son. She spent every night crying on that floor. She carried that grief until the day she died. Even at the very end, she was still smiling for his sake. But this time, Lucas knows what's coming, and he's not going to let history repeat itself. The memory is a scar. Lucas sees her again, lying on that cold floor. In his past life, she was the one who stayed behind, but not this time. He won't let her go through that hell. He knows the truth. The pneumonia, it wasn't just a sickness. The cause was revealed much later. He looks at the soup. Then he looks at Hans. Hans. Lucas stands up. His hands hit the table. He needs to know, right now, what kind of monster was just killed out there? What did they really bring back from that village? The night started out completely silent, just a moonlit forest and a lone deer. But the peace didn't last long. Something massive drops from the sky. A ball of fire tears through the trees. The hunt has officially begun. Run while you can. Lucas finds the spot. He really thought it was a wolf, but a normal animal doesn't burn like this. He keeps moving past the village sign. Black Goose Village, the center of this whole mess. Back at the estate, Gerda is demanding answers. A monster was killed in that village? Hans can't say much. He didn't get a good look, but the magic tower already claimed the body. They paid a fortune to study the remains. Whatever that thing was, it isn't just a simple beast. Hans remembers the details. A giant spider-like thing, covered in silver fur. If that's true, then the identity is finally clear. It's a winter spider. Lucas checks the records. Individually, these monsters aren't that powerful, but they breed fast, and they always move in swarms. The real problem is their mana. Being exposed to such high density leads to mana poisoning. It's a slow poison, it literally chokes the life out of you, and it's already starting to spread. The children of the village are definitely suffering. The mana from those spiders is a silent killer. In this era, nobody understands mana poisoning. They probably think it's just pneumonia. This many herbs should be enough. It will help the children's symptoms for now, but this is only a temporary fix. To actually save them, the spiders must be completely wiped out. I could ask my parents for help, but my father is away at the fortress. I'm on my own. My father is busy guarding the border, and my mother is traveling the continent. She's searching for a cure for my condition, but they aren't here. If I just sit around and wait for them to return, Hinder's life will be in serious danger. Night falls over the quiet village. Inside a small house, a woman watches over the sick. Suddenly, a knock sounds at the door. Who would be out at this hour? The door creaks open. The woman inside asks, "Who's there?" Lucas pulls back his hood. He tells his nanny. She looks exhausted. She can't believe it. The young master is here at this hour. She looks at his dirt-covered clothes. Did something happen back at the manor? Lucas stays quiet. He hasn't seen her at work lately, so he came to check on her. But she stops him from entering the house. She warns him that Hinder has pneumonia. If he comes inside, he'll get infected too. She has no idea. The danger is already much worse than that. Lucas isn't worried about catching any infection. He puts on a mask and asks if this will be enough. The nanny hesitates, but Lucas doesn't give her a choice. He hands over a heavy bag of supplies. She asks what it is. Just some herbs. He gives her strict instructions on how to prepare the medicine. Boil it twice and let it cool down, then feed it to him. Lucas walks into the dimly lit room. He looks down at the boy in bed. There are bluish spots forming on his skin. This isn't a normal case of pneumonia. It's exactly what he feared. It's mana poisoning, and time is running out. Lucas calls out to the boy in bed. Hinder finally opens his eyes. He struggles to speak, calling out to Lucas. Between heavy coughs, he begs for mercy. He asks the young master not to fire his mother. She only stayed home because he was so sick. The nanny stands back, listening to her son. Lucas looks down at him. He promises he isn't kicking anyone out. His mother is the only one who takes care of his meals properly. He places a hand on the boy's forehead. He tells Hinder to stop worrying about others. He needs to focus on getting better. But the medicine Lucas brought is only the beginning. The guide leads Lucas to a dark opening. This is the abandoned mine he was looking for. Lucas double-checks if it's a limestone cave. The man is certain. Lucas hands over a coin and dismisses him. The man hesitates. He warns Lucas to be very careful. People have gone missing around here lately. Lucas watches him leave. He knows winter spiders love limestone caves. Since this is the only one nearby, this must be their nest. But he isn't just walking in blindly. He stops at the entrance to prepare his magic. Whatever is inside is waiting for him, and it's definitely not just a normal spider. Lucas ignites his magic. He's pushed his mana circuits to a new level. He can now cast 3 spells at once. His power is finally reaching the second circle. But there's a catch. His body has a limit. If he uses too much power at once, his vessel might break. He can't just go in blasting magic recklessly. He doesn't know how. Many spiders are waiting. He needs a way to sustain the fight. That's why he's here. He spots a rare plant in the brush. Frost belladonna. This is the key to his survival. But picking it might be the easy part. Lucas finds the plant exactly as described. Humans use these berries for paralysis or anesthesia, but for winter spiders, it's a deadly poison. It's ironic that they live right next to their own lethal cure. He plucks the stems and stuffs his bag, but he made a serious mistake. He should have worn gloves for this. The plant is so potent it's already affecting his skin. He takes a breath and checks his gear. The preparation is finished. He has enough rune stones from the manor. It's time to move. He steps away from the light of day. The dark mouth of the mine swallows him. Whatever is down there is already listening. Lucas steps into the depths of the mine. The air is freezing. Dying in a place like this would be completely meaningless. He keeps moving forward. He's certain the source is further down, but he needs a way to descend. He scans the area with his magic light. There it is. A rope ladder is anchored to the rock. It leads straight into the pitch-black abyss. He takes a moment to look down. The real hunt is about to begin, but something is watching, from the shadows below. Lucas grips the rope. He begins the long climb down the ladder. The darkness below is thick and heavy. His feet finally hit the solid ground. He takes a moment to catch his breath. The air down here feels different. He looks around and realizes he's finally found the right place. The ground is covered in a massive pile of dried out bones. These corpses look like mummies piled together. It looks like they've had every drop of fluid sucked out. This isn't just a cave anymore. It's a feeding ground, and the predator is somewhere in the dark. Lucas picks up a fragment from the pile. It's a human collarbone. This must be the person the hunter mentioned. The mystery is solved, but the silence in the cave is broken. A sharp skittering sound echoes off the walls. It's coming from above. Something is moving fast across the stone ceiling. Lucas doesn't hesitate. He drops the bone and raises his hand. His magic flares up, bright in the dark. The hunt has found him, and it's coming down. Lucas hurls a fireball into the dark. The flames explode against the cave walls. The monsters shriek and pull back. They're afraid of fire. That should keep them away for a while, but it won't last. He needs to prepare before they come swarming back in. He pulls a mask over his face. He reaches into his bag for the berries. These aren't for eating. He's setting a trap, but will it be enough to stop them? Lucas sets the pot down. He points his finger and ignites the berries. A thick green smoke begins to fill the cave. This isn't just smoke, it's a lure. The scent drifts up into the dark tunnels. It reaches the things hiding in the shadows. The monsters stop. They can smell it. The smoke is drawing them out of hiding. They can't resist it. They're coming down from the ceiling now. The trap is working, but Lucas is right. In the splash zone, the smoke did its job. The monsters are out in the open now. They think they've cornered their prey, but Lucas is ready. He watches them from behind his mask. The time for running is officially over. Now then, let the hunt begin. He's not the one trapped in here. They are. The weight of the territory is burying the count. Stacks of reports won't fix the damage. A voice from outside shatters the silence. What were you doing while everything fell apart? The quill stops. The work doesn't matter if the people are gone. Isaac tries to step in. Watch your tone. You are speaking to His Excellency. But Hans doesn't care about titles anymore. Everyone knows who he is. He's the Lord who failed to protect us. Why did you let your own people die? The village is screaming. Why did you abandon us? Why did you leave Black Goose Village to rot? Jonas doesn't even look. It's just too noisy. The anger of the people is a distraction. Maybe we should just board up the windows, block out the world with thick wooden planks. No, wait. There's a better way. We should move everything underground. No noise, no people, just the perfect silence. For my research, we can line the walls with magic-resistant minerals, something strong enough to hold the explosions. It's the perfect plan. What do you think, Hans? Hans, get over here. I have more orders. Jonas waits for a reply, but the room stays silent. No footsteps. No yes, master. Oh, that's right. Hans isn't here anymore. He's gone. The realization should hurt, but Jonas just picks up his quill again. Scratch, scratch. The only sound left is ink hitting paper. He doesn't stop. He doesn't look up. If he keeps writing, maybe the silence won't feel so heavy. But the desk is large, and the room is far too empty. The scratching never stops. Jonas is buried in paper, writing down every secret, every formula, every monster's weakness. He's long gone, but those memories are still surfacing. Even now, they keep popping up at just the right time. The winter spiders, they should have been a death sentence, but the frost belladonna worked exactly like the record said. The threat is paralyzed. The past just saved the present. You can't just feed poison to these spiders. They're too smart for that, but they still have to breathe. Burning the leaves releases a toxic smoke. It paralyzes them slowly before they suffocate. Of course, I'm not immune either. One deep breath, and I'm dead too. The wet mask blocks the worst of it, but for the rest, I use my mana to purify my blood. I can't stop there. I need a perimeter. I condense a fireball and stretch the flames into a burning circle. Smoke to kill, mana to survive, fire to keep them back. Now, we just have to wait. Casting 3 spells at the exact same time. They call this multi-circuit. It's the only reason I'm still standing. The spiders are weak now. Their time is up. Farewell. One spark is all it takes. The cave lights up in a massive explosion. Everything should be nothing but ash. I start to walk away. The job is done. But then, I hear it. A skittering sound coming from the shadows. They aren't running away. They're all charging toward a single spot. Something is wrong. This isn't over yet. The fire is doing exactly what I wanted. The spiders are melting in the heat. But it's working a little too well. The smoke is getting thicker by the second. If I stay here, I'll suffocate before the fire goes out. It's getting too hot. I have to finish this right now. One way or another. This ends here. I hear it. The sound of dripping. There has to be water nearby. The heat is gone. It's freezing in here. I shouldn't have ditched my coat. The ground is solid. The temperature dropped enough to freeze puddles. Something isn't right. But wait. Look at this. Are these all eggs? There are thousands, maybe more. If she laid this many eggs at once, I'm not just in a cave. I'm in a nursery. Something just hit. A sharp strike, echoing through the dark. Then the sound starts. A heavy thumping, like a heartbeat, shaking the entire cave. It's coming from inside the eggs. They aren't just sitting here. They're reacting. Every single one is pulsing in sync. The rhythm is getting faster now. I'm standing in the middle of thousands of heartbeats. And then, the light changes. Something is coming. I need to see what's ahead of me. A little light should do the trick. I sent the flame deep into the tunnel. It should have hit a wall by now. But it didn't. The light just vanished. Something in the dark swallowed the fire hole. No impact. No explosion. Just total silence. And then, the ground starts to scream. That wasn't an echo. Something massive just woke up. The ceiling isn't rock. It's alive. And it's looking right at me. Those red eyes were watching the whole time, waiting for me to get close enough. Then the silence breaks. A piercing screech rips through the cave. It's coming down. The impact is massive. I didn't even see the strike coming. 1 second I'm standing. The next, I'm sliding across the frozen floor. I'm not the hunter. I'm the intruder. And this thing wants me out. This feeling again. It never gets easier. No matter how many times I face it. It's the queen. The winter spider queen. She's the reason this place is frozen. Most spiders fear fire. But not her. She doesn't just endure the heat. She smothers it. Every breath she takes is a wave of pure, chilling cold. My fire won't work. The one thing I count on is useless here. She's moving faster than something that size should ever move. I have to find another way to fight before I freeze solid. The fireball hit, but she didn't burn. Not like the others. She's built different. At least she's slow. I can see her movements coming, but seeing them isn't enough. Ugh, my body is reaching its limit. I'm only 12. No combat training, just a kid who's been awake all night casting. The magic is draining me dry. I can barely keep my balance, and she knows it. That heavy thud. She's right behind me, and I'm officially out of time. The ground shakes. Those heavy footsteps are getting closer, but my mind is somewhere else. Come to think of it, that wheat bread Hans gave me, it was delicious. In this frozen north, wheat doesn't grow. Everything is ice and bitter rye. But I always had soft, white bread, and that was all thanks to her. My nurse. She'd trek for days to distant cities every single week just to find high-quality wheat. She did all that just because I hated the taste of rye bread in this cold cave. That memory is the only thing keeping me warm. I'm not dying here. Not when there's bread waiting for me. When I get back, I'll demand she bakes a whole batch. Queen or not, she's still just a giant spider, and spiders can be squashed. I'm done playing by her rules. It's time to use what I have. I've got one shot to make this count. The bag hits hard, but in this cold, everything breaks. Let's see how she likes this. The bag was a trap. It didn't just hit, it flash froze her armor, making it brittle, like thin glass. Now she's not tough. She's just fragile. I don't need magic. I don't need a sword. A simple shovel will do the job. Everything I've got is in this swing. Crack. The ice shatters. The armor fails. The queen is finally breaking apart. One good hit, and the monster starts to crumble. That scream. It's the sound of a monster in pain. The shovel dug deep. Green blood is everywhere. She's not a queen. She's just a target. But she's not going down quietly. The impact sends me flying back. I'm mid-air. No ground beneath me, and she's already swinging again. One hit wasn't enough. Now she's desperate, and a desperate monster is twice as deadly. I need to land, and I need to do it fast before she finishes what she started. I have to hold on. If I let go now, it's all over. She's thrashing wildly, trying to shake me, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm out of mana. No more fireballs from a distance. Besides, she's built to resist the heat A lucky hit won't be enough. I need something more than luck. I'm done with long-range attacks. If I can't burn her skin, I'll burn her from the inside. This fireball, it's not like the others. Generate. Time to see how much heat she can really take. Condense. And then, condense again. I'm squeezing the heat until it changes. Orange isn't enough. It needs to be pure blue energy. Just a little more. Just a little deeper. I'm not just hitting her. I'm burying this right in her heart. Die. The blue light tears through her. No more armor. No more resistance. This is the end of the queen. That's the sound of a monster's end. The blue flames are tearing it apart. No more running. No more fighting. The queen is breaking under the heat. Everything she built is turning to dust. This is how an empire falls in a single flash. Lucas is stuck. The power is too much. His arm won't move. It's like his body is losing control. Then, a sudden release. He's finally free, but the cost is heavy. He hits the ground hard. The impact is brutal. Everything is burning blue. The monster is gone, but Lucas is down. He's not moving. Is this the price for that kind of power? The silence is terrifying. He's just lying there, among the frozen ruins. Did he actually survive that final blast? Or is this it? The monster is gone. Only this crystal remains. A cold, blue souvenir of a deadly fight. Everything goes dark. Where am I? This isn't the battlefield. It's too quiet here. Wait, I know that voice. That's the nanny. She sounds panicked. Something is wrong. She's asking about me. Did the young master really leave the mansion? They have no idea. And there's Hans. He's trying to hide what actually happened. But why am I back? What did I miss? Rosa isn't buying it. She knows something happened at that abandoned mine. But Hans is staying quiet. He claims he knows nothing. Then it all clicks. I remember the fight. The queen is dead. I hit the ground hard, and everything went black. I didn't stay down. I forced myself up and crawled out of that dark, damp hole. I had to get back. There was Hans, waiting at the entrance, pacing back and forth. The moment he saw me, my body just gave up. I didn't say a word. I just fell forward, safe in his arms, before the world vanished. I'm finally home, but the secret I'm carrying, that's just beginning. Hinder is finally safe. My plan actually worked. Hans is out there, praising my kind heart. It's a bit much. I'm just lying here, listening to them talk. They think I've changed since the big explosion. Maybe they're right. Hans, they both jump. They didn't realize I was already awake. The relief is instant. Half a day. That's how long I've been out cold. I try to tell them that I'm fine, but Rosa isn't having it. She's absolutely furious. What do you mean? You can manage? She wants answers. Why go alone? Why risk everything? I survived the mine, but I might not survive this lecture. I need a lie, and I need it fast. I tell them I fell while looking for herbs. It sounds ridiculous, but who would believe? A 12-year-old kid hunted a monster? Better to play it safe. How is Hinder? Rosa has good news. The herbs worked. He's finally getting better. The village kids are too. That's a massive relief. But the real danger is still out there. The mana poisoning must stay a secret. If the higher UPS find those spider corpses, they'll send in scholars. Things will get messy. Very, very quickly. But Rosa isn't done. She wants to know how I knew the cure when the doctor didn't. I just saw it in a random book. I hope she buys it, because the truth is way more dangerous. Time to go, Hans. I'm not staying here. Hans is hesitant. It's already snowing out, but I don't care. Think about it, Hans. If anyone finds out I left the mansion empty, you're the one who'll pay the price. That shuts him up. He knows I'm right. But before we leave, Rosa stops us. She has a gift. A basket of apples. The villagers sent them. A small thank you for saving their kids. I didn't expect this. I take one. It's a strange feeling, being thanked like this. But there's still work left to be done. Tell the nanny to stay home. Take another week off. She needs to be with Hinder right now. She can't work until he's fully recovered. I'm heading back to the mansion. The real game begins. Rosa is still worried. The head chamberlain is a strict man. He won't just let a nanny skip work. But I'm not just giving her a break. I have a job for her to do. Tell her to take these village apples. I want apple jam. Rosa is confused. Jam? That's the assignment. She can make it while she's at home, and when she returns, she better bring some fresh wheat bread to go with it. It's the perfect cover. Rosa finally gets it. I'm not being lazy. I'm giving the nanny a way to stay with her sick son without losing her job. She looks at me differently now. How about apple pie? She asks with a smile. Now we're talking. I can live with that. Sometimes being the boss means knowing exactly How to break the rules. Sounds like a plan. The deal is set. And just like that, a whole week passes. I haven't been idle. I'm pushing my body to its absolute limit. Every day is a grind in this mansion courtyard, but it's paying off. Something is shifting deep inside my vessel. I can feel the power starting to reshape itself. My mana circuits are finally expanding. I started with 3, now I have 4. It doesn't sound like much, but in this world, that extra circuit changes everything. I'm finally getting stronger. My vessel is stabilizing. I can feel it. I've doubled my capacity 4 spells at once. That's my new baseline. Fighting those winter spiders pushed me to the edge, but this daily grind, this is what counts. Running until I drop. People think magic is just about power. They're wrong. It's math and intuition. It burns through your mental energy. And here's the catch. When the body collapses, the mind goes with it. You can't cast spells if you can't breathe. That's why I failed. In that abandoned mine, I had the knowledge, but I was trapped in a child's body. In my past life, I knew better. I trained my stamina until it was iron. I won't make that mistake again. I'm building a body that can actually handle the power I hold. The next time I fight, I won't be the one who breaks first. My training is interrupted. A voice calls out, "Young master." It's the head chamberlain. Schiller doesn't look happy. He's not alone either. Today is the day. Time for a checkup. The doctor is here. I have to stop. The noble life never really lets go. "Hello, young master." The doctor bows low. He wants to know how I'm feeling. If only he knew what's actually happening inside this body. But for now, I have to play along. This is my father's personal physician, the best in the region, but even a genius can't see the truth. He has no idea what I really am. Everything looks good. The doctor is surprised. "You're much healthier now. I should probably change your medication." He's just guessing, drawing his own conclusions based on what he sees, but I'll let him keep playing doctor. He opens his case. "This is Panacea. It's a powerful potion. It will stabilize your mana flow." Panacea, the real deal. My father didn't spare any expense on this. I hold the vial. This is exactly what I need right now. With this in hand, my progress will skyrocket. Panacea, the legendary cure-all. Soldiers use it as a stimulant. Commoners call it a stamina booster. Everyone thinks it stabilizes your mana, but they're wrong. It's a mistake from an ancient translation. It doesn't stabilize anything. It stimulates the flow. It forces the mana to move faster. For most people, this stuff is poison. If your mana is wild, it'll tear you apart. But for me, it's the perfect catalyst. I can use this to force my circuits to expand and grow. I'll see you next month then. The doctor heads out. Yeah, good work. He thinks he's helping me recover. He has no idea. He just handed me a dangerous shortcut. The doctor is gone, but Schiller is still here. He's staring at me. "Do you have something to say? You're being quiet today." Schiller looks suspicious. "Usually you'd be throwing a massive fit. You've scared off every other doctor in the territory." I can't help but smile. The old Lucas was a nightmare. "So, should I start screaming now?" Schiller doesn't laugh. He just watches me. The silence is heavy. Then he says it. "I heard something about Black Goose Village. They say you cured the children's pneumonia." Everything stops. He knows. My secret is out. And now I'm in real trouble. "How did you know?" Schiller doesn't blink. "I heard it from Hans." Of course. He grilled poor Hans until he broke. Now he has all the proof. If the council finds out about this, they won't stay quiet. This is a scandal waiting to happen. But then he shifts. "I'll let it slide. Just this once. But don't do it again. Restrain yourself." He leans in close. His presence is suffocating. I've known him for a long time, but I could never get close to him. He's not just a head chamberlain. He's a gatekeeper I can't get past. Schiller was always cold, a rigid, distant man who never let anyone get close. He was the perfect, unshakable head chamberlain. But then he does something I didn't expect. He hands me the medical bag. "If you really can't restrain yourself, at least talk to me first." He's not stopping me. He's offering to help me hide it. I remember what Jonas told me before he died. Schiller served this family since the very beginning. Even when the Goethes finally fell and the estate was in ruins, he never left. He stayed at his post alone. He kept serving until the moment he lost his life. This cold man is the most loyal person I know. And now he's on my side. He's surprisingly caring. I didn't expect this side of him. Got it. Thank you, Schiller. But he's not done with me. I've seen you running every day. Is there a reason for that? He's observant. Nothing gets past him. I have a very good reason. Every great mage in history trained their body. You can't hold massive power in a weak frame. If I want my mana to bloom, my body has to be ready for it. I'm not just playing around. I'm building a vessel for something legendary. Schiller just stares. He's seeing a completely different person, and for the first time, he looks impressed. Late at night, Schiller is busy. He's writing a report. That changes everything. The rumors are true. The young master cured those children in Black Goose Village. The verification is complete. He knows the truth. Magic might be hard for Lucas, given his constitution, but his mind? That's a different story. He could be a brilliant scholar or a master alchemist. Schiller looks satisfied. His Excellency will be relieved to hear this news. The boy isn't a failure anymore. A knock at the door. The quiet is broken. Come in. Someone is here at this hour, and they aren't bringing good news. The door creaks open. It's Rosa again. She looks terrified. Excuse me. Schiller doesn't even look surprised. Is it you again? He's heard this many times before, but this time, it's different. The maids keep disappearing. They leave and never come back. This isn't just about Clara anymore. Now Annette is gone. She hasn't missed a single day in 3 years. A girl like that doesn't just walk away. Something is happening inside these walls. Rosa is certain something is very wrong, and if the head chamberlain won't listen, who will be next? Rosa is right. Something did happen. I'm sure of it. Deep in the shadows, where no one looks, the truth is buried. It's Annette. She didn't run away. She was taken, bound and hidden in the cold dark. She's completely helpless. The estate isn't safe. The predator is already inside the house, and Annette is just the beginning. Who's watching from the darkness? Something is very wrong. In this mansion, 3 maids have vanished in just 2 months. Bill thinks it is just the harsh north. Between the monsters and the freezing cold, people just leave. But Annette knows that is a lie. She was working herself to the bone for her father's medicine. She would never just walk away. But Bill just laughs it all off. Maybe she finally got sick of nursing the old man. Is he hiding something? Or is he next? Bill just can't keep his mouth shut. He suggests the girl simply ran off with some guy. Rosa isn't having it. She tells him to watch his mouth. But Bill has a much darker theory. He calls it black magic. It sounds crazy until you look around. This is a family built on magic, and the eldest son is fading away. If you were the Lord, how far would you go to save your child? Is a maid's life the price of a cure? Annette can't even finish the sentence. The word sacrifice is too heavy to say out loud. Rosa snaps at Bill to stop these dangerous rumors, but Bill just smirks. He thinks he's right. Rosa isn't backing down. She reminds him who he really is. The master took in a criminal like Bill. He should be grateful, not spreading lies. Bill starts to lose it, but then a voice cuts through the air. That is a very interesting story. Someone was listening, and Bill looks like he's seen a ghost. The rumors were loud, but the truth is louder. Jonas steps forward and demands the details. Bill doesn't hesitate. He starts from the very beginning. It all began 2 months ago. First, it was Hilda. She vanished without leaving a trace. Then came Clara, just a few weeks later. And now, Annette. She went to service this past weekend and never came back. The pattern is clear. The maids aren't just leaving, they are being taken. Who is next on the list? Jonas isn't playing games. He wants to know exactly why this is happening. Bill can barely look him in the eye. That glare is enough to make anyone want to run. Jonas offers a deal. Be completely honest, and there will be no punishment. Bill hesitates. He needs to know if Jonas really means it. Jonas doesn't blink. He asks if the real problem here is actually him. Bill nearly chokes. He tries to play it off, but the truth is already in the room. Everyone is terrified. Bill points to Hans as the ultimate proof. He's the closest servant, yet he's always covered in bruises. Bill keeps going, saying Jonas will never have a peaceful death. Then, the silence hits. He's talking about himself. I shouldn't have said a word. The realization hits like a physical blow. Jonas finally speaks. Bill, just one word, and Bill is already begging for his life. He's not ready to go. He rambles about priests and God, trying anything to survive. Jonas just watches him. You don't want to die? The question hangs heavy in the air. Is this a threat or a dark promise? Bill's life is now entirely in Jonas's hands. Jonas changes the deal. If Bill wants to live, he has to work. Do a job for me instead. Bill is left speechless. He's traded his life for a dangerous task, but he has no choice. The night grows cold. Jonas sits alone in the dark hall. Suddenly, the air ignites. Blue flames erupt from the shadows. They dance around him like living spirits. Rosa, Annette. He whispers the names of the missing girls. The fire burns bright, searching for the truth. What is Jonas really looking for in the dark? The blue fire isn't just burning, it's showing him faces from the past. Rosa appears in the light. She looks like she's trying to say something before she fades away. Jonas snaps his fingers. Right, that was her name. The memory is clear now. Everything changed after Hans and my nanny died. The house became a tomb. Rosa and Annette were the only ones left, the only maids who volunteered to serve me. They were his only allies in this cold mansion, and now they're gone. Who is systematically taking his people away? Rosa won't give up. She begs him to keep holding on to hope, but Jonas just laughs. Hope? What do you know? He stands there, shrouded in darkness. His hand is soaked in fresh blood. He asks them a terrifying question. Do you know the feeling of killing a friend, of ending a life with your own hands? He's screaming his pain, trying to push them farther away, but Annette doesn't move. Young master, I know that feeling. Her voice is steady, almost too calm. Because I let my own friend die by my hands, too. The air in the room turns to ice. What secret has this maid been keeping? Jonas can't believe it. A friend? He thought he was the only one haunted by a ghost. Rosa looks at Annette. She knows how much this memory hurts, but Annette keeps going. Back then, if I had just looked back once, if I had reached out. She's talking about Clara, a girl she could have saved, but didn't. Annette steps closer. She looks Jonas right in the eyes. I know your situation is special, young master, but you aren't alone in your mistakes. Anyone can cause things they never intended. It happens to everyone, at least once. A moment that changes everything. She's offering him a way out of the guilt. But can Jonas really let go of the blood on his hands? Everyone does. Annette's words linger in the air. Her dark view of life brought me comfort. I should have asked her more back then, but the past is gone. The memory fades into the present. A sharp knock hits the door. Jonas snaps back, blue magic flickering at his fingertips. Young master, it's Bill. The voice from outside breaks the silence. Jonas doesn't waste a single second. Did you find out where the maids went? He's been waiting for this news. Bill steps inside. Yes, it didn't take long to figure out. The search is over. But what kind of trap has been set for the girls? The beggars at the crossroads saw everything. Bill tracked the leads, and the descriptions matched perfectly. So, what's the answer? Jonas is losing patience. He needs to know where they are. Slave traders. Bill doesn't sugarcoat it. They promise a better life in the South, then sell them off. Jonas doesn't get it. If they wanted to go, why not just go on their own? Don't be so naive. Bill stops him right there. You need wagons, mercenaries for protection, and papers to be free. Do you really think a few women could handle that alone? They're walking straight into a nightmare. The trap is already closing around them. Can Jonas reach them before they're sold into the shadows? Jonas nods. It makes sense now. He's starting to see the world for what it is. Bill looks at him. A kid is still a kid. He has no idea how things really work. But then, Bill sees a chance to profit. He clears his throat with a sly grin. You see, young master, information has a price. Those beggars didn't talk for free. I had to use every single coin you gave me for the travel funds. Jonas is floored. All 20 silver coins? That's enough to pay a man for a year. Bill just laughs it off. People were on guard. It took a lot to make them talk. Jonas doesn't even blink. The money doesn't matter. He's ready to pay whatever it takes. But is Bill telling the whole truth, or is he just bleeding Jonas dry? I just want to find them as soon as possible. Jonas doesn't care about the cost. Bill can't believe his luck. You're so generous, young master. He's practically drooling. Is there anything else you need me to do? Bill is ready to work for more gold. There is. Jonas looks at a letter on the desk. He offers Bill a massive cut of the deal. Of course I'm in. Bill shouts it out. He thinks he's finally hooked a real sucker. I knew it. You just have to sweet talk these brats. I'll be rolling in dough from now on. To Bill, Jonas is a golden egg delivered on a platter. The perfect target. But deep down, Bill knows the truth. This kid is a ticking time bomb. One wrong move, and the golden egg might just blow up in his face. Big money always comes with a risk. Bill is ready to take that chance. I'll guide you to the brokers. he's practically singing, as he leads the way. Life is all about high risk and high return. He can already feel the gold in his pockets. He's laughing now, thinking he's the smartest man in the entire room. But the return isn't what he expected. One moment he's dreaming of riches. The next, he's behind iron bars. No cloak, no gold, not even his shirt. Just a cold cell, and a skull, to keep him company. The high risk finally caught up to him. How did it even end up like this? Bill went from the hunter to the one in the cage. Did Jonas set him up, or did he just walk into a trap he couldn't handle? Bill is panicking. He's gripping the bars with everything he has. Why am I in a place like this? He thought he was the one in control. He thought he was playing a naive kid, but he was wrong. Jonas steps out from the shadows. He isn't the victim Bill thought he was. He stands there calm, holding a glowing blue gemstone. A cold smile creeps across his face. The golden egg just turned into his worst nightmare. Jonas didn't just lock him up. He stripped Bill of his dignity, his clothes, and his entire future. Now Jonas is the one holding all the cards. And that blue stone? It's just the beginning. What is Jonas really after, and how far is he willing to go to get it?